Stephen Yeun knows a lot about viruses, but this time he trades a deadly virus in The Walking Dead for a not so deadly virus in Mayhem, but one that can result in deadly repercussions. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment. Day 2 of our Halloween Oktoberfest extravaganza, so strap in and get ready for some mayhem. That is the movie we will be reviewing today. It came out in 2017, features Stephen Yeun, Samara Weaving, and a couple of other characters, and you may notice one name, Dallas Roberts, who was alongside Stephen Yeun in The Walking Dead Season 3. Shout out to Dallas Roberts. I enjoyed the Milton character. I know a lot of people weren't too keen on him, but I think he left a pretty good lasting impression on the show, and he's a hell of a lot better than the majority of the characters that followed him.
Absolutely, it was fun seeing him. I clocked him straight away. You were a wee bit hesitant to clock him, but I clocked him, and that's all that matters.
You clocked him, so we follow Stephen Yeun, who plays Derek Chu, and he basically, he's got not a dead-end job, it's a pretty good job, but he
was once filled with optimism, and now he's clinically depressed.
That's pretty much it, and I think everybody feels that way about work at one point. He works for a massive company called the Fanda Corp, and he's recently been given a promotion, so he's doing pretty good for himself. At the start of the movie, he describes, we get a lot of not like flashbacks, but we get a lot of premonitions and out of character experiences, and he describes that there's this virus. It's called the ID7 red eye virus. Basically, if you get it, you get red eyes, and it increases the almost like the violence inside you. It makes you do things that you wouldn't do under normal circumstances.
It's like a rage virus, but not quite a rage virus.
Yeah, it affects your integrity, and you end up acting out impulses. So maybe you don't like somebody, but you won't do anything about it because there's laws and you don't want to get in trouble. But if you get the red eye virus and you don't like somebody, then you might go and kill them. You might murder them. And there has been some circumstances where people have done this, but they have gotten away with murder because when you got the red eye virus, you're not technically yourself. It's almost like you're being controlled, by a parasite or something like that.
Yeah, but it seemed like as this movie went on, the only real emotion that we seen from it was rage, murder, people getting attacked. There wasn't there wasn't many other emotions on display throughout the movie. It felt like it was just let's just kill.
There's some people having sex in the background and stuff like that, and
but was there people greeting? Was there people crying? It seemed to be aggressive.
And one of the first 9, the CEO, he was constantly, snorting lines. So maybe I think he was snorting more lines than he normally would.
No, maybe. Yeah, there was a lot going on there. Definitely a lot.
John the Boss Towers. So Derek goes into work one day, and essentially, we see him save one of his little co-workers, the secretary, from a bully. He then goes, he sits down, he speaks with Melanie Cross. She is there trying to get a payment for her house, but he says no. He reads the small print. He's like, you ain't getting this. And essentially, that's her, lost her house. So she's not very happy with Derek. And then he reads through some documents, and it turns out there's a problem with a file, and it's been blamed on him. Long story short, it's been passed down by Kara the Siren, that she has made a mistake. She's made a fuck up, but she's actually just passed the information on to Glenn, and she's made her mistake into his mistake, which leads to Glenn, Derek.
He's Glenn to us.
Definitely Derek. He takes the elevator up with Kara, and he has to take it with Kara because his key pass doesn't get him to the top floor. They both go to the top floor. They meet with the boss, John Towers, and basically, after a sexual favour from Kara, he fires Derek. And that's Derek gone, out on his ear, done. For a mistake that he didn't make, but they're going to make him the fall guy nonetheless.
Yeah, because that's how these big companies work, isn't it? It's easier to make one guy the fall guy than bring everyone down. And it makes sense. Obviously, Derek's the...
Yeah, but they're passing the blame down to the guy who's lower in the food chain.
But that's what happens.
Well, that's what happens. Derek doesn't like it. Then he basically gets visited by the Reaper, who was played by Dallas Roberts, and he seems to read everybody their final rights. He seems to bring you the contract. Here's your money, sign on the dotted line, this is your compensation, this is your payoff package, and you'll no longer work here. You'll no longer be employed. But, Derek is adamant that he's not going to pay this. He's like, nah, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to speak to John. I'm going to get this sorted. And he doesn't accept the deal. He doesn't want the deal. And then the building just gets like put in quarantine. And we get told that the virus, the ID7 virus, has been detected in the ventilation system. A neutralizing agent has been released into the building, but it's going to take 8 hours for the virus to be obliterated. So for the next 8 hours, nobody can leave the building, and you're gonna have a building filled with a shitload of crazy people that are reacting negatively to the virus.
Absolutely, and I feel like this followed a pretty similar movie. I can't actually remember what it was called, but they had like explosives in their head, and it was an experiment. And it was like a battle royale with 100 people in an office block.
The Belko experiment.
That's it. It reminded me of that, but the objective here was there was no
Michael
real
Rooker was in that.
He was. Good job, dude. There was no real objective here. The objective was from our own main character. It wasn't like they were like, oh, you guys are in there until you all kill each other or something. It was Derek's own objective essentially in the end. So I seen similarities there. We are introduced to his friend Ewan, who he's infected at this stage. He's like, do you really think I do all that psychedelic shit? I'm depressed. My life's shit.
Yeah, Derek thinks that Ewan's got a great life, and Ewan's like, nah, man, you think I like the taste of kale? I'm depressed. Come on, Derek, don't do it. Don't do something you're going to regret. And Derek's like, right, okay, Ewan, I won't do it. But then Derek manages to escape Ewan, and Ewan's like, motherfucker. And we see Derek attempting to get up to the top. He wants to speak with John, the boss Towers, but they've restricted his access, and instead of the lift going up, the lift goes down into the basement where he gets beat up by a shitload of people. He gets beat up by the security guards, the bull, and they attack him. And then John Towers goes on the phone basically saying, look, Derek, what do you think you were going to do? You think you were going to come and attack me? You think you were going to come and beat me up? And don't worry though, Ewan appears and he comes to save Derek. But unfortunately, he gets like thrown against, I guess, some plank of wood with a nail sticking out it, and he gets his head impaled.
It's a pretty shite death.
Yeah.
I mean, it's unlucky, like, don't get me wrong, but it's like this rage virus, and the first guy to die is falling and getting impaled by a nail.
Yeah, so he dies, and this obviously upsets Derek. He then gets thrown in a room, and he wakes up, and he's alongside Melanie, the girl that he refused to look at the contract about her house, and they get into a bit of a fight, and then Derek's like, you know what, calm down, get off me, and we can work together here. They've kind of got the same motive. She wants to get this contract signed, she wants her house back, Derek wants his job back. They form a partnership that they're going to work together. And I thought the main female, Samara Weaving, I thought she was a pretty good actress. I enjoyed the character as well. Pretty funny.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good dynamic that these two had, and I think they were the only two in the movie. Well, I do think, what do you call Milton's character again?
Milton's character, Lester the Reaper, Miguel.
I thought Lester the Reaper was good. It was chaotic, the movie, but it set out a simple plot of, right, we need to make our way up this building. It felt like a game almost, like a Resident Evil. I have to get this guy's
progress levels.
Yeah, and it's obviously in a building. It was quite simple. And then that's obviously what they've got to do. So they managed to get to the Reaper first, don't they? He's chopping away at some plant.
Yeah, so we see the Reaper is cutting away at some plants. They manage to get him. It takes multiple attempts, but they finally get in. He's trying to kill Glenn. He stabs Glenn's hand through the table with a knife. He's then trying to kill Melanie, but Glenn manages to toss this chainsaw to Melanie, and she just uses the chainsaw to kill Reaper. And that's him done. So they get his card key, then they advance up the stairs, they get closer to the top, they then come across the Siren, and she has some people working on her floor. They get into a brawl with them, and then they manage to take on the Siren, but the Siren, she's got rid of her key card. She's disposed of her key card. She was promised by John Towers to be a partner, an equal partner, if she threw the key card out the window. But she didn't throw the key card out the window. She gave the key card to her secretary, who then betrayed her, and she accepted a promotion on behalf of the boss, because the boss knew that the Siren was maybe going to sell him out and give Derek the key card anyway. So she no longer has any sort of leverage here, and she ends up getting killed by her secretary, who cuts her tongue out.
Pretty brutal death, but I mean, it was off screen. We didn't really get to see it. I mean, you kind of guessed what happened, but I mean, all in all, pretty decent death. But I mean, a Rage movie, I would have liked maybe to have seen it.
Yeah, no, definitely. We then see John Towers. He's taunting Derek. He's watching him on like the camera, and he urinates on Ewan's corpse. So I guess they brought Ewan's corpse up to the top floor, and he just pisses all over it, I guess, to annoy Derek. Derek at this point upset about his body. He wants to kill John, but first he has sex with Melanie, I guess, because why not? Then they attempt to go upstairs, but they first go to an IT worker who hacks into Irene Smith's computer. She's one of the 9. She's one of the partners, and they offer Smith's files in exchange for her card. She comes down. She's got a gun strapped underneath the table, but our protagonists are one step ahead. They've already got the gun. The bull attacks Derek. He tries to spray him in the eyes with his, I don't know what it is, liquid. He's going to burn his eyes out.
Pepper spray.
But Derek manages to take it in the mouth and then spit it in the eyes of the bull, blinding him and then killing him with a screwdriver. And that takes care of the bull. The bull is gone. No more bullshit. And then Derek betrays Melanie, or so it seems, when he cracks her in the back of the head and ties her up, and he then gets the key card off Smith because she's going to give Derek the key card in exchange for getting revenge on Melanie because she smashed up her computer with all of her information on it, all of her
key data.
Key data and all that stuff. But turns out that Derek has somehow manipulated the bolts he was tying up Melanie with, so she manages to escape anyway and kills Smith, and then Derek gets his way to the top floor where we just see the boss the entire time like snorting coke, and he's like, give me my club. Someone throws him a golf club and it's like, nah, not this one, the 5-iron. And it's like, I don't know, I found that a little bit funny. It's like, he's trying to get into a fight to the death here, and he's worried about what kind of...
He's picky about what club he has.
Yeah.
The TSC board, they were just cowering in the corner like a bunch of shite bags.
They will. Towers offered Derek a full partnership first, but Derek was like, nah, you're alright. They then get into battle, and Derek comes out on top. He has got Towers hanging over an edge, basically, and he's going to allow the board to, make the decision. Do they want Towers to live, or do they want Towers to die? And all 9 of them give the cutthroat to signal Towers' death. Derek punches Towers off then, and he flies through the building, but I mean, it took him about 10 years to hit the bottom, because then you got all these different scenes that happened in between, and you got the virus being lifted, and the quarantine was lifted, and it was just very, very strange. Derek accepts the board's offer for Towers' job. He takes the job, he extends Melanie's loan, and then he just quits the company. And later we see him painting with Melanie, so it looks like there's a romance going on here, a relationship, and we get all these wee scenes, and then at the very end of the movie, we just get the shot of Towers finally hitting the ground and dying, which I thought was kind of funny because he actually originally got punched over the balcony, whatever, 5 minutes ago. But that was the end of the movie. I thought it was a pretty good film. I mean, I don't know if I'd describe it as a horror film. It did seem like comedy-ish to me.
Dark comedy, I would describe it as.
I liked it though. I thought it was good. You know what? I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, here. Obviously, we think it was good. I'll give it a 7 as well. But I mean, just a few wee things to point out here. 2.5 million it cost to make, which I think surprisingly cheap considering some of the actors in it. And also you've got to factor in everything else. But then the box office, listen to this, $17,000 and 366. I mean, what is that?
I'll tell you what that is. That's not good.
No, here. That has to be one of the lowest grossing movies I've ever seen. That I've ever reviewed. And it's, the movie's not exactly box office, right? I don't think it's not the biggest thing you'll ever see or the greatest thing you'll ever see. But I have reviewed some deadier movies than this. I think that's an incredible number.
I don't know if that number can be legit, though.
No, I agree. I'm going to assume it was...
A couple of zeros missing or something.
No, maybe not necessarily that.
Or it was a one-time showing. But even then, 17... Maybe it was only shown in one particular cinema.
Maybe it was straight to Netflix, but then they released it in cinema and went, nah, we'll just keep it on Netflix and pull it.
Sometimes you do get movies that are released as a one-time only thing. And you only get one showing or something like that.
Yeah. I'm not too sure, but here it doesn't. It doesn't really matter what a movie. Well, I mean, it matters what a movie does at the box office, but at the end of the day, it's what you think of it. We're not profiting a fucking dime off of what they made at the box office. But anyway, it's a 7 out of 10. I just thought that was pretty funny to look at. But Stephen Yeun, he's willing to do quite a lot of things, and so's Samantha Weaving. So this was obviously the beginning. I believe this would have been his first job after The Walking Dead.
I think so. First proper job after getting his head bashed in by Lucille.
Yeah, so he survived this one, guys. He survived the golf club. He didn't survive Lucille. Till next time. Peace.